Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. What's going on over here?
This? Well, I found it.
You found it.
Just laying on the ground.
Just laying on the ground.
Yeah, in a manner of speaking. Yeah, it was just laying there.
Where's my armor? You know what? I don't think I want to know. You look ridiculous.
Oh, really? You think you can harm me in all of this amazing armor now?
Didn't we already do this video?
Well, yeah, I mean, kinda, but a lot of people point out we don't really use shields much when we do that bone testing. So I wanted to add that as an element of protection to see how it's gonna fare against concussive damage.
That's true. Shields are used by true warriors, not your them in the armor. How does that track? Isn't it the same thing? No. Shields are completely different. They're used for offense and defense. It takes skill to use armor. It just sits there on your body. Like a woman.
And there it is.
Also, you're the woman in the armor. It's far too pretty and shiny for me to take seriously. Have you ever actually been in a fight?
Look, armor is like my muscles. It looks good, helpful for getting the ladies, but not actually that useful in combat.
That can't be true.
All I know is my muscles are used for cuddling, not for fighting. All right, fine. So what are we gonna do?
High impact test against your armor?
This? Oh no. Oh God, no. This is actually very expensive. I'm not gonna damage this.
What about sections of armor with the bone and the shields? Check and see how they do. My weapons against your shields against your armor.
Okay, yeah, I like that. So your shield and some mail and padded gamison with bone against my blunt weapons, and then a section of my armor against your axe and a shield to see how it does, kind of seeing if that'll break the bone underneath all the armor and the padding.
Precisely. Am I ever just gonna be able to do shirtless archery again?
Sorry, man, I think that part of it's dead. I feel like you've been outvoted.
Those days are done.
Welcome back, everyone. It's time to get to smashing. So, like we did last time, I'm gonna be using bone. And so the thing I felt best was a cow femur, because live tissue is 2 to 3 times stronger, and even though I'm going to be testing it for what would be the arm or the forearm, I think this density is going to be helpful. I think this bone might give a better representation of what a human bone might do, just because it's thicker, so therefore stronger and a little more resilient as living tissue might be. What I'm going to do is, like last time too, I'm going to pair it with 2 layers of this thick foam from a foam rolling mat. I'm going to have this over top of it, kind of to act as like a skin, so to speak, and then I'm going to set it up between some armor. It's going to be the gauntlet. The bone's going to be inside of the gauntlet, padded up with a shield in front of it. For SirGains portion, we are going to have our blunt concussive force against the wooden shield with the arm behind it. So we're going to be using a warpick and a warhammer. And so the way I plan to do this shield test here with Trollo's new shield, which I'm sure he's gonna be very disappointed with, is when you do a shield charge, I'm gonna act as if I'm absorbing impact. This one here is a hand grip in the center. So the way that, if you absorb something, you're gonna have shoulder and leg, and you're gonna brace up against it if someone's charging into you. So what I want to do is I want to place it as if it's resting against the arm and the shoulder and the bicep there. That's where I'm going to set the actual bone. And I'm going to take an impact there as if someone was basically coming in and charging and hitting that spot square on, to see how much damage that can take and how much it's going to push through. These shields, again, are very thick hardwood shields. You've seen it multiple times. The same kind I've used consistently in the past, just a new one, because the other one was, out to pasture. So we're gonna set it up right in here like this, and I'm gonna take that damage onto the arm. So as amazingly cool as all of this armor looks, I am gonna have to change out of it a little bit. In case you were curious, this is 16 gauge cold rolled steel, but cold rolled is still superior to just like a standard mile because it actually is rolled out. It's a little more durable. And I've tested this spot here in the past with the warbow and then the gorget as well. And they both perform very admirably, but like I said, this is expensive and this is like a showpiece, not like a testing piece. So just a good day to show off loot, I guess, and let's get into it. Okay, so here we have our moderately well-to-do Norseman. He's got himself his set of riveted mail and a padded gambeson as well. We got the muscle simulation and the skin in there. I'm gonna set the shield up on top of that as if he's absorbing a charge and just take some whacks at it. So we got our center grip shield here. This part of the wood is right against where that bone is. And I'm gonna check and see if I can transfer enough energy in there to actually cause damage to the bone underneath. Okay, so that was enough to go into the shield and it poked through the riveted mail. It stopped on the padded gambeson and it kind of went into the muscle a little bit, but not very deeply. So that was still enough to push through into there. Again, that was just like a penetration shot, not like a blunt damage shot. Okay, so initial first strike was good. Now I'm gonna try with the blunt side here against the shield. I'm gonna go to the heavier warhammer also and see how that is. I'm gonna take a strike each, then I'll check and see the results. So I can see her on the bone, there's no cracks yet. It's done its job absorbing the impact. Now I'm gonna go on to the crazier type weapons like the Kanabo and then Grond. Okay, it appeared to have survived that as well. So what we're gonna do now is go on to the more fantasy type weapons, which is Grond. Now you can see the flanges or whatever they're called here are still bent in. I haven't got it fixed yet. At this point, it's kind of just like a heavy warhammer, but it's gonna have a lot of mass on the top, and I think if anything's gonna break that bone behind the shield, it's gonna be this. All right, here we go. Moment of truth again. Let's see what we got. Kind of a pain to take all this off every time, but gotta be somewhat scientific, I guess. Oh, survived intact, ladies and gentlemen, even through that. So even with it pressed up against the shield there, taking that damage, it wasn't enough to break that bone with the layers behind it here. So that's actually Pretty cool. I thought I might get it with the Kanabo and Grond, but still did good. So the shield did its job well. Okay, you family women, SirGains, it is my turn. So for this one, we have a shield. This is a steel shield. Now, oftentimes the shields were wood. There were some historical accounts of steel ones. Some people think they were just like, you know, for decoration or ornaments, but regardless, I'm gonna have a shield in here. Behind the shield is gonna be hardened steel gauntlet along with the padded gambeson and the bone inside. I'm gonna see if I can break that with this here axe. So this is how it's gonna be set up here. We have the gauntlet here grabbing, so there's already a little bit of separation in there. It is also a little more round, so there's gonna be more absorption in that. I don't know how much progress I'm gonna make on this, but it'll be interesting to see nonetheless. All right, so we have our knight protecting his body here, and so we're layered up. I'm gonna give a few strikes right in there and see how much damage I can do underneath. All right, so you can see that was definitely enough to stop any sort of crack or fracture in there as well. So with the gauntlet combined with everything, even though it was caving in that shield, that layer of protection in there was enough to kind of give enough to diffuse the impact so it wasn't cause damage underneath the gauntlet as well. So it did its job well and protected this bone. But then of course it's only fair to be equal. So I set it back up in here and I'm gonna take a shot with Grond. Well, even with that, we still are doing good. So impressive. You know, obviously it's going to do well. That's what armor is for. I don't think it's surprising to anyone, but I really thought I'd get a crack in there on the bone, but there's no cracks in it whatsoever. Despite all that impact, it's not transferring through enough to crack the bone underneath it, which I thought might be the case. However, just because we are out here now, I want to do one final test with this thing where I'm going to layer it up. I'm going to set the riveted mail and then the C60 hardened steel bicep on top of it along with everything and take a shot at it there. Cut myself with something stupid out here, I don't know what, so get that taken care of. But we're going to continue. So we are set up here. So I have got the hardened steel, the riveted flat mail here, the padded gambeson, the 2 layers of the foam to signify muscle, this here to kind of signify the skin. And I'm going to strike right in here and just press it against the body with the warhammer and see if that's enough to crack into this and break that bone. Okay, those definitely felt impactful for certain. Caved in the hardened steel and really gave it some good work there. Let's see what happened. Well, I'll be darned. Check that out, guys. So this was the steel right here. Cave that in. But I think this extra part here, that foam that kind of signifies a little bit of muscle there, that was enough to make it so it wasn't cracking through. Now, just to show you that this isn't some like unbreakable thing, I'm just gonna take a smack at it with the warhammer to show you that it can in fact break. Okay, so watching that back, that was actually kind of embarrassing because apparently I actually missed with the head and I hit it right here. But regardless, you can see that did in fact crack that in half. So obviously armor works, but kind of the goal that I have a lot of times is just to see what the extent it can manage is. And obviously with all those layers and everything there, it did a really good job stopping that impact from something that is a full swing. And so to me, it's just very impressive, I guess is the thing. Like I promised last video, I'm gonna end this a different way. Instead of saying, here's another video I did, I'm gonna say, if you enjoyed that and you like that, go try something new. If you enjoy the sling stuff that I do, the archery things that I do, go out and try them for yourself. Go have some fun in the field, go have an adventure. Go ahead, turn off the computer, click away from the phone, and go have some fun.